Good morning, Virginia. This is Virginia This Morning with Greg McQuaid and Cheryl Miller. Good morning, Virginia.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us on this Tuesday edition of Virginia This Morning. Hey there, I'm Greg McQuaid.
And I'm Cheryl Miller. Good morning to you. We are kicking off today's show with a musical performance from a band that's based out in Hanover.
Yeah, Hickory Hill plays a variety of music from R&B, country, blues, jazz, and pretty much everything in between. They like to play the oldies as well as some original songs that they've come up with. Well, we're going to speak to founders Kevin, Damian, James Duckett in just a few minutes. But first, here's Hickory Hill performing Someday Soon. Folks, take it away.
There's a young man that I know, age is 21, comes from down in southern Colorado, just out of the service, looking for his fun someday soon, going with him someday soon. Parents cannot stand him 'cause he rides the rodeo. Father says that he will leave me crying. I would follow him right down the roughest road I know someday soon, going with him someday soon. When it comes to calm, my pa ain't got a good word to say. Guess it's 'cause he's just as wild in his younger days. So blow you old blue northern, roll my love to me. Riding in tonight from California, I would follow him right down the roughest road I know someday soon, going with him someday soon. When it comes to calm, my pa ain't got a good word to say. Guess it's 'cause he's just as wild in his younger days. So blow you old blue northern, roll my love to me. Riding in tonight from California, I would follow him right down the roughest road I know someday soon, going with him someday soon, someday soon, going with him someday soon.
Oh, what a beautiful voice. That's Hickory Hill. They'll be performing this Friday at 8 at O'Banks Cafe and Grill in Ashland. We're going to be talking with the band's founders, Kevin, Damian, and James Duckett, right after this quick check of the hot forecast. Carrie?
Whenever they get together, it's pretty much a jam session. Hickory Hill enjoys playing a wide variety of music, ranging from the 50s and 60s to folk, jazz, and blues.
Founders Kevin Damian and Jim Duckett met while playing at the Farmers Market in Ashland years ago. We won't say how many years ago, and have been making music together ever since. Welcome. Good morning.
Hey, guys.
Thank you.
Sounded great.
Thank
you again.
Tell us about that young lady who was singing for you. Beautiful voice.
That's Miss Lauren Fields, and we got her through
our drummer Chris, who played in another band with Lauren for a number of years.
That's fantastic.
We're pleased to have her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's obviously, it shows.
Yeah.
Tell us, guys, about your crossing paths and when you realized that you could make musical magic together.
Well, actually, our paths crossed way back in the 70s. He moved back to the Gloucester area, Virginia, after I had moved out. We played with the same musicians, but at different times, and it was unusual when we met at the farmers market that we started talking and found out that we knew one another and mutual friends.
Years ago.
Yeah.
Small world, huh?
It is.
Yeah, you'd think musicians playing in the same area would kind of at least cross paths at some point, but you really didn't.
Not at that.
We just missed each other by maybe a year, I think.
Yeah.
Just a couple of chords.
Yeah. But we hooked up, and you know, it worked. It worked very well between us.
Now, we mentioned that you play all kinds of music, from jazz to R&B to country to folk to everything. Is that just the influence of everybody who's in the band together, or is that just because you love all kinds of music?
I think it's both, a little of both.
Yeah.
I do love all kinds of music, and you know, music is therapeutic and tells a story, gives you a message. You know, it's a universal language. And we just like to play whatever we all enjoy listening to and play it for an audience.
I was going to say, with you know, playing for an audience, is that something that are they throwing out requests from the 50s and 60s?
Always.
And I would imagine that keeps it
Everything and
very fresh for you as well.
Yes, it's a challenge sometimes to play some of the songs. And Jim and Cliff probably know about every song that's ever been recorded, so that's helpful.
Take your own iPod.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about the rest of the band. Now, your son also plays with you?
Yes, that's my son James playing on the bass and the vocals. With Kevin and I worked together first, and then he knew Clifford Rowland, and who does a fine job on acoustic guitar and vocals. And then through Clifford we met Charlie.
That's right, at open mic at the Iron Horse. And then I saw an ad for a drummer at the Guitar Center, and then we got Chris, who introduced us to Lauren. And when James, his son, relocated to Virginia, we were a complete unit. And if we have any other players, we'll probably have to get our own zip code. So we're going to stop at 7. That's it. No more.
7, lucky number 7, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Now tell us about when you guys get together and rehearse. What is that like? We were saying that it's sort of like the jam session, but do you have a roadmap, or is it just where someone has a little inspiration, you want to go down that path as well?
It's kind of a loose session, but as the unofficial leader, I try to keep things, you know, going in an organized manner to make the most of the 2 or 3 hours that we rehearse.
But everybody brings something to the table.
Exactly.
You know, nothing is just thrown out of hand. You know,
Maximizing your time together.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Now, as far as playing together, do you also write music together sometimes?
Yes.
So who's the real inspiration? Who's the musician? Who's the lyricist? Or do you just kind of throw it all together?
I think we just kind of throw it all together.
Jim's been writing songs for a number of years, and so have I. And I don't know. We try to introduce those into our repertoire as we can. Initially, you have to get a following, and you have to play music that people are familiar with. Then you start throwing in your own stuff once you've got that going.
Some of your influences?
Some of my influences? I would have to say one of my earliest influences was Vince Martin. He got me my first paying job down at the Gaslight South down in Coconut Grove back in '67.
Wow.
And you may remember him from a little ditty called Cindy, Oh Cindy from the 50s. And he worked with Fred Neil. He's a big influence. Of course, anybody, the folk boom from the 60s, Beatles, Byrds.
Same for you, Kevin?
The Beatles, Rolling Stones, Jimi Hendrix, more of the rock venue for me.
Well, and like you said, you bring it all
Stevie
together.
Ray.
It's a nice
Keep it right.
Americana stew.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Keeps everything eclectic.
That's right.
Oh, absolutely.
Folks can hear it for themselves this Friday night at the Obanks Cafe and Grill in Ashland. Shows at 8 o'clock. Thanks, gentlemen, coming in. Thanks
you.
to the rest of the
You're very
band as
welcome.
well.
Thanks for
Sounded great
inviting
this
us.
morning.
Thanks
Thanks,
to the
guys.
team.